Hello, Bambinos. This is WDC playoff semi-finals versus Lucian and his team Rebellion. We got the bye in round one, and Lucian made it through the trenches of playoffs to get to us here. We're straight into the matchup here, and I'm thinking that my Scarf Tatsugiri is going to be putting in a lot of work here because I can Icy Wind two of his X4 guys that are weak to ice, the Toadscrew and the Noivern, and Armourouge is the big damage threat that I'm worried about here, as well as King Gambit. So I've got like Scarf Surf can take care of Armourouge, and I've got Terra Fighting, but we're going to go straight into game one here. And my opponent leads the Noivern and Armourouge. Armourouge, I don't know how to say it. I lead the Tinkaton and Scarf Tatsugiri, but the Noivern frisks me straight away, sees my Psychic Seed on Tinkaton, and sees my Choice Scarf. So they're going to know straight away that I am Scarfed here. So they can maneuver about this in a couple of ways. Potentially just protects, or maybe hard switching out. I don't know what could be in the back that would want to take this, but I have to kind of choose. I want to protect here because I want to surf with the Tatsu because I want to get rid of the armor. The Armourouge is a bigger threat to me, I think. So I protect my Tinkaton and surf here to try and get some big damage off on this Armourouge and some chip on potentially a Sash Noivern. But my opponent's going to be Terra turn one here into a Ghost type Noivern. I'm assuming to bypass any fake outs potentially from Tinkaton here. But I go for protect. I'm not carrying fake out, but they don't know that. And the Noivern reveals to be Scarf itself and just deletes my Tatsugiri turn one. This is very big because my Tatsu is going to be putting in the work here, but revealing the Scarf turn one, and they go for the Heat Wave into the protected Tink. So that's huge. That's a very bad turn one for me. I'm forced to go into my Salt guy here, Garganackle. So the Noivern's -2 and locked into Draco, so can't hit Tink and not going to be doing a lot to Garganackle. I'm looking at what could be in the back, thinking what could come in here on that Noivern slot. And I've just got Pulmot in the back, which isn't got the most amount of longevity. So I'm going to hit a Gigaton into what I'm expecting to be an Indeedee switch in on the Noivern side. I believe that's what I go for here. Of course, this is post columns if you haven't been able to tell that already. Yeah, Gigaton Hammer into that slot and a Salt Cure into the armor because it'll do a nice little bit of chip, and that continual chip will be nice to carry along here. Because I don't think this Noivern's going to stay in here at -2 special attack with the Draco. That's not doing a lot to either of my mons. So I correctly predict that. And out comes Indeedee, which is going to be taking this Gigaton. But with the Psychic Surge, it is going to pop my Psychic Seed and put my Tinkaton to +1 special defense, which is going to be very helpful. I don't know if my opponent was that worried about Wide Guard or not here, but we see the Gigaton does such a big chunk. That's a crit actually, and reveals the Citrus Berry on Indeedee. As we then see the Heat Wave anyway coming out, it avoids on the Garganackle side, which is kind of annoying. I'd rather it avoided Tinkaton. But Tinkaton eats that quite nicely to the point where it's not even a 2-hit KO. And we get the Salt Cure off on the armor and start seeing some residual damage going off here. Now then, I can't click Gigaton again here because I've just clicked it. And I can't really switch in the Pulmot. It's not going to be doing a lot for me here. If I remember correctly, I think I just hit a Brick Break into the Indeedee slot. Or I protect, can't remember. What do I do here? I don't want to reveal Ice Hammer. Ice Hammer would obviously do more damage to Indeedee, but I don't want to reveal it because I want to be able to catch the Noivern or potentially Toadscroll off guard with it. So I go for a Protect here and decide to go for another Salt Cure into the Indeedee. As Indeedee goes for the Helping Hand, and it turns out my opponent just does not give a shit about Wide Guard. He is not prepared to worry about Wide Guard and goes for the Expanding Force. Helping Hand Expanding Force is going to do a lot of damage here. Yeah, it does so much to Garganackle here. I get the Salt Cure off anyway. but it's not going to be enough to take out the Ndidi this turn. I reveal lefties on Garganaku. As Ndidi takes that Salt Cure chip. It's not enough. I don't even know if it's enough to take out next turn. I cannot remember. But Armor Rogue takes it as well, and now is it now about 50%? So, I'm going to go for the Brick Rake here just to take out the Ndidi once and for all, and I go for the Wide Guard here because, like I said, my opponent just does not care. So I reveal the Wide Guard. Ndidi does go for the Follow Me, which is fine, because I didn't target the armor anyway. And Tinkaton is faster than the armor and just takes out the Ndidi. But then my opponent didn't go for a spread move and just goes for the Aura Sphere into the Garganacle and takes us out, which is unfortunate. I would have thought they'd go for the Heat Wave again there maybe. But the Salt Chip is chugging along on the armor. I'm now forced to go into my Sash Pulmot, which isn't looking too good in front of an Armor Rogue and potentially a Noivern, a Scarf Noivern at that. In comes the Noivern again. And the Frisk is going to pop again here, which is kind of huge because it reveals my Sash. So that he knows he's got to hit me twice now. He knows he needs to go for like a hit into Pulmot and a spread move. And that'll do just nicely here. Seeing as this is a Ghost type Noivern, I'm just going to go for the Gigaton Hammer. I'm going to Terra Dark, expecting the Expanding Force here. And go for the Double Shocks into Armor Rogue. Now then, some of you might have already clocked that this is a massive, massive boo-boo. But I wasn't thinking. I was just thinking, I need to get damage on this and I need to be immune. I wasn't thinking about how Double Shocks works. And yeah, we're going to see here. I can't remember what my opponent clicks here with the Noivern. But like I said, they know I've got Sash. As I reveal the Terra on Pulmot here to be dark. But here's the thing, right? I've got Ice Punch and CC as my other two attacking moves on this thing. There was no way I could take out the Armor Rogue this turn and survive the double up of Shadow Ball and Expanding Force. So here comes the Shadow Ball. It's going to resist. Bear in mind that's a resisted hit. Double Shock fails because I'm no longer Electric type. That's a really, really iffy interaction there. Gigaton Hammer into the Noivern. Not going to be enough to take it out. And Expanding Force comes out, not affecting the Pulmot, but also not doing too much into Tinkaton. Here's the thing. I couldn't take out Armor Rogue down no matter what. I couldn't because Ice Punch or CC wouldn't kill it, but I could have killed Noivern. I could have gone for an Ice Punch into the Noivern slot and probably have taken it out. So that was a massive misplay on my part. Massive misplay. Puts me in a really bad position here because Scarf Shadow Ball is obviously putting a lot of pressure on me. I'm not sure if it takes out Tinkaton here from this range. I am +1 Spadef, remember. And Tinkaton has pretty good natural Spadef. But I go for the Protector. I think I have to play off of basically a misplay on my opponent's side here, where they target the Tinkaton and go for a Heat Wave maybe. But remember last turn that Armor Rogue has Aura Sphere, so I feel like they tried to clinch the Shadow Ball KO on Tinkaton there, although I don't know if it would have. And I think Tink would have lived, but I don't know if I could have killed Armor here or not. And the Aura Sphere is easily enough to take out Pulmot because Pulmot's so frail. And they broke my Sash with that Shadow Ball last turn. So really, I should have Ice Punched the Noivern the turn that I clicked Double Shocks. And maybe I could have won. So here we are now in a 2v1 situation against an Armor Rogue and Toadscroll. Having made the big boo-boo last turn, I'm thinking here my only win con is a double protect, because that will take out the Armor Rogue and I could potentially get an Ice Hammer off. I don't even know if I live in Earth Power. It depends on the speed tiers of this Toadscroll, if it's defensive or offensive. My only win con is a double protect. I get it. I get the double protect. And the The Toad Scroll is faster than the Armor for one, which is interesting to remember. Hits the Earth Power into Tinkaton, and Heat Wave obviously into my Protect. So we get very lucky with that double Protect, and Armor goes down to the Salt Cure chip. Now, remembering that I'm still +1 Special Defense from my Psychic Seed, I still don't think I live in Earth Power. It's super effective. I potentially could have saved my Terra for this turn here. I have to go for the Ice Hammer. It's my only win con here. We are faster, which is incredible. But somehow the Toad Scroll lives on like 5%. Incredible amount of bulk into this Toad Scroll. Like it literally had to be max HP, max defense, bold, and it was still a roll. I had a 30% chance to still pick up that kill with Ice Hammer, but unfortunately we don't get it. We go into game 2. Going into game 2, I kind of think Tatsugiri is useless. The Scarf Noivern completely invalidates the Tatsugiri here. So I'm going to stick with Tink because I think Tink actually does pretty well into him. And I'm looking at like what he might bring instead on the lead. It was Noivern Armor in the first game. I think my Terra Water Volcarona could do pretty well into that lead. Obviously, we don't appreciate Noivern at all. Like, it could have Air Slash, it could have Hurricane. But that's why we have Protect. So we could potentially Protect and Ice Hammer it, or Terra to avoid a Hurricane. So I'm going to lead the Volcarona and Tinkaton and bring Garganacl and Puma in the back. See, now my Dragapult was meant to go with my Tatsugiri lead, and I can surf, because I'm still faster than Tatsugiri, I can surf to give it +1 from Storm Drain and then hit big hits off with my Scarf Tatsugiri. But because of that Scarf Noivern, it's just a bad bring. Because like I said, he just leads Noivern, which puts the pressure on me every time. This time he's going to find out I've got the Adrenaline Orb, but it doesn't really matter because he happened to lead the Intimidate Tauros, but I'm own tempo Tinkaton, and it's going to proc my Adrenaline Orb turn 1 here anyway, so doesn't matter at all. So now it's about, he's Scarfed Noivern, but is he Scarfed enough to outspeed a +1 Volcarona? That is the question. I'm going to go for the Gigaton straight into the Noivern, and I'm going to Terra Water here. I think I do turn 1. Terra Water to avoid the Flying type move and go for the Psychic into the Tauros. I can't remember what my opponent does here, like at all. I cannot remember, but they do stay in with both their mons. I Terra, so I kind of figure that my opponent doesn't Terra at all. As I reveal Water Terra on my Volcarona, this was to pretty much stop Tauros from doing too much damage to me. We see the Draco from the Noivern does such a massive chunk, like 60% to Volcarona, that's huge. As the Psychic goes into the Tauros and just one-shots it, which is absolutely huge because that Tauros is going to be putting on a ton of pressure into my Tinkaton. But now we get the Gigaton off into the Noivern, and I think that's a pretty good trade turn 1 here. So now we've got the -2 Noivern from the Draco and the Armor coming in here. Noivern's -2. I'm not sure if I want to stay in. I think I'm looking at whether a -2 Draco does enough to Volcarona, but I don't think it will. I'm thinking here I should double into the Armor slot, or Protect and Terra Water the Armor slot, if I'm remembering correctly. I can also go out into Garg here, in hindsight. Do I do this or not? No, it looks like I go for the Brick Break into the Noivern. I think maybe I should have gone Garg there in hindsight, but he stays in by the looks of it, and Terra's the Armor Rogue into a pure Psychic type, which is a good play by them. It's going to avoid the water move from my Volcarona, but at the same time, I could quite easily have a bug move, and now he no longer resists, but Draco doesn't do enough to take out Volcarona, which is huge news for me. As I go for the Terra Blast into the guy, and it really doesn't do a lot of damage. I'm thinking here it's potentially Assault Vest. Brick doesn't do enough, which is fine, even with a crit. But Heat Wave's going to come out, and it does a massive chunk to Tinkerton and kills Volcarona. So, not great. But now this Noivern is -4. Right? So, I don't think he's staying in here, no matter what I go into. I'm pretty sure I go into Pulmot. Yeah, we do go into Pulmot. So we've got the Sash intact. So now I'm thinking, do they want to just fire off a -4 Draco just to break my Sash? That is a possibility. But I also think, because it's like the fastest thing on either of our side's team, he could just switch it out and bring it back in later for more Friskin and for more Scarf Dracos. That could quite easily be a thing that he does. So I just go for the Gigaton into the Armourouge now that it's a Psychic type, it doesn't resist, and a Double Shock. I double into the armor slot, predicting the Noivern to switch out pretty much. We already know that both my guys are faster than the armor. He does switch out Noivern and brings in the Indeedee. Once again, this is going to proc my Psychic Seed, but at the range Tink is at, I don't think it matters. Now, if Armor Rogue protects here, I get absolutely goobed because I've just doubled into that slot, and now he can follow me Expanding Force like all he wants. But he doesn't reveal Protect, which even further leads you to believe that this is Assault Vest. Go for the Gigaton, and we take out the armor, which is great. So now there's just the very low HP Noivern and this Indeedee to deal with. Still very tricky situation to be in, because we've seen Shadow Ball, we've seen Draco from the Noivern so far, right? My Sash is still intact, so I'm thinking Garg can endgame this if I get enough damage on Indeedee, because like any hit from anything is going to kill Noivern here, right? I decide to protect, and I decide to double protect here, do I? I thought maybe I double protect and see what it's locking itself into, but I also don't want any like setup coming from the Indeedee, so I just go for the big CC. Like I said, any amount of chip into this Indeedee will allow Garganacl to just end game this like it does sometimes. The protect from Tink might be overkill, but I didn't want to take like a Shadow Ball or a Flamethrower and die here. They just Draco into Pulmot, which does bring me to my Sash, which is unfortunate, but at the same time, this Noivern is now locked into a Dragon move. Can't switch out, and is at -2. So I get the massive amount of chip into Indeedee, and it does proc the Citrus, so it kind of doesn't really do as much as you'd hoped. But at the same time, like I said, this Indeedee, I've seen Follow Me, I've seen Dazzling Gleam, I've seen Helping Hand. If Dazzling Gleam and Draco are all the attacks he has left on the field, I don't know if Tinkerton is like ever going to die. Plus, Garganacl could quite easily endgame here. So with these two guys on the field, I figure I can just leave the Noivern alone because it's locked into Draco. It's at -2. Like, I don't think it ever wins the trade with Garganacl. So I'm pretty sure just ignore it this turn here. And go for a Gigaton into Indeedee and a Assault Cure into Indeedee. Yeah, I can ignore the Noivern because it's locked into Draco. This is -2, not doing a lot. The next one's -4, so I'm pretty sure I always win this trade unless there's some crits involved. Gigaton does a decent chunk into Indeedee, doesn't kill. We see Dazzling Gleam again, which leads me to believe that that is Indeedee's only attack. Otherwise you'd go for a Psychic into Garg here maybe, I don't know. But Assault Cure doesn't kill, but the residual will. as we get a bit of lefties. And indeed he goes down to the Sulcure chip, which guarantees us the game 2 win here because Noivern cannot touch Tinkaton. Right? And I can't click Gigaton. I don't want to miss an Ice Hammer, even though it doesn't really matter because, like I said, I can't lose. But yeah, Draco really not doing a lot at all now. And Tinkaton will pick up the kill with Brick Break, and we win game 2. Okay, so we're going to a game 3 in a semi-final. Exciting stuff, you love to see it. Managed to clutch out that game 2 pretty nicely, I think. But here we are for game 3. So I'm thinking he very likely goes for the same lead again. Noivern and Tauros. I do still have to respect the King Gambit. So I need to, I'm thinking, bring some fighting type coverage. But I've got that on Pawmot, Garganackle, and Tinkaton. Tink just looks great on lead. I've revealed all my moves though at this point, so he knows I haven't got Fake Out. And I can't remember what I lead here. No, I do remember what I lead here, but I think I fanny about for about a minute with what I'm going to bring. I toy with bringing the Tatsugiri, but I'm just so worried about the Noivern. The Noivern actually like really stumped me. I was not expecting to struggle with Noivern at all in this matchup, but the fact that it's Scarf Noivern really troubles me because I cannot lead. Like my planned lead was always going to be like Tatsu plus either Polt or Tink. So I fanny about with this and end up leading Tinkaton and Pawmot. Because here's the thing, right? He does lead the same lead like I predicted. I'm not revealing any new items here. So I've got the Sash on Pawmot. I haven't revealed Protect on Pawmot. That's, I think, huge here in game 3. So he knows I'm Sash. He knows he's going to want to get rid of me here because I've revealed Ice Punch and obviously Double Shocks would do massive damage into Tauros. I'm going to go for the Ice Hammer into Noivern. And I'm toying with either going for Double Shock or Protect here. I end up just protecting because I feel like he's going to want to double me. So I Protect here. He doesn't know I've got Protect. I'm a Sashmon. I may not have Protect. He doesn't know that. So I'm hoping I can whiff some attacks here and just get this Ice Hammer off onto this Noivern and get rid of it early. Because this, like I said, this Noivern's putting a massive amount of pressure on me. He could just switch, but I don't really know what to. He could go Armor, expecting the Ice Hammer. Obviously, Pawmot is -1 attack from the Intimidate, but Tinkaton is not because of Boon Tempo. So there's the Protect on Pawmot. Noivern goes for a Shadow Ball straight into the Tinkaton. Not a Draco. Obviously, he doesn't want to lock himself into a move where he can't hit Pawmot. But Tauros actually goes for a close combat into Tinkaton, so the Protect was completely wasted, and I just cannot believe my opponent ignored Pawmot completely here. And I missed the Ice Hammer, which is just absolutely huge. Like, you don't understand how huge that is. Getting rid of Noivern here would have been like amazing. Oops, sorry for that. And literally, I'm just thinking here like, well, I've lost. This is game over. There's no way I can come back from this. I think about going for the Double Shocks into the Tauros, but I figure because it's -1 defense, he's actually going to switch, and I go for the Ice Punch into Noivern. I switched out Tink into Garg, I believe, for another Shadow Ball, because Shadow Ball could just pick me off here. Yeah, we've got the Iron Fist Ice Punch into the Noivern. Yes, we're -1, but this is ×4 damage with Iron Fist boosted attacks. In comes the Toad Scroll. But we switched out. Oh no, we protected. Okay. We didn't switch out into Garg. The Shadow Ball goes into the Tink, I believe. Yep. He wanted to pick off that red HP I had there. And the Ice Punch comes out. It doesn't kill. I just couldn't believe that didn't kill. I know I'm -1. But that's ×4 damage. Iron Fist boosted Pawmot. Pawmot, you've just let me down. I stay in here and look to go for the Ice Punch into Toad Scroll this turn. And switch to Garganackle because, like I said, I think that that Noivern's definitely going to want to pick off Tinkaton here. We know that Tinkaton is faster than the Toadscruel, so I can probably reposition for an Ice Hammer later, but we know it doesn't OHKO from game 1, so I need to get some form of chip onto this. Shadow Bolt into Garg is going to do not a lot because of the Purifying Salt ability. It does get a minus Spadef though, which is very unfortunate because Ice Punch does quite a lot into that. That's -1, so I imagine if I wasn't -1 that would have killed. And we get ourselves Spored, which is just awful. And with the Spadef drop, we're just in a very bad position here because Earth Power now is a threat on the -1 Spadef. So if I remember correctly here, I don't want to stay in because Earth Power is just a threat. I think I want to just sack the Tinkaton and give myself a turn to try and wake up with a nice punch into the Toadscruel. Because yeah, like I said, the -1 Spadef is just bad news. Bad news for Garg. I can't stay in because Earth Powers will probably 2-hit KO me, and I just need to try and get... There's no point in switching out Pulmot here. Oh, I'll have a message, sorry. I just need to give myself a turn to wake up here. It's obviously no good being asleep, and switching out doesn't solve that. I need to get rid of these sleep turns. He does switch to Noivern, interestingly, rather than try and like break the Sash and Earth Power in the Pulmot. Brings in the Taurus, which puts me to -2 on Pulmot. But we switch the Garg out into TINK. Pulmot stays asleep, obviously, that's the first turn asleep out of the way. And Toadscruel goes for a Leech Seed, which was interesting. I imagine he thought I was going to switch out there, so he thought Leech Seed was like the best mid-ground play, rather than for going an Earth Power into like a potential resist from... I don't know what I could have brought out with resist, I can't remember what I had. But he goes to the Leech Seed. So I just go for the Ice Hammer into the Toadscruel. Not really expecting to get it off. I think I'll probably die this turn, but if he picks up a double KO here, I can bring in Garg and Volcarona. That's my thinking. I don't think I survived this turn at all, but getting in Garg and Volcarona fresh would make a big difference. Whoopsie. So Pulmot has a chance to wake up here, and I'm pretty sure that's like all I need. I need Pulmot to wake up here on the second turn of sleep, but Toadscruel switches back out into the Noivern. So if I hit an Ice Punch into that slot here, I could kill the Noivern. But I stay asleep, which is really unfortunate, and Taurus goes for the Earthquake, which is a good play. Switch in the fly-in, and it doesn't pick up the kill on Pulmot, which I am actually surprised at. I would have thought that would have killed. And I actually rather it did kill. But the Leech Seed comes off again, giving Noivern that tiny little bit extra health. And I now have to choose whether to bring in Volk or Garg. And it's annoying that Taurus is already in because I didn't get my Adrenaline Orb. So this Taurus is going to be faster than us this time. It wasn't last time. I figure I absolutely have to Terra here. Because the Taurus is faster than me and will just destroy me. I do consider hitting it with a Terra Blast to try and predict the Taurus Terra here. Because I think he's going to try and Terra to like a resist for the Psychic, or like not a resist, but a non-super effective hit. But I end up just going for the Psychic anyway and try to wake up this turn for the Ice Punch into Noivern. Obviously the double up from Noivern and Taurus is a huge threat, as my opponent does Terastallize the Taurus here, and it's a pure water type, which is very scary because now like Raging Bulls and Aqua Jets are going to be so much stronger. So I also Terrestrialize here, and this does just confirm that Volk was slower than Tauros, which I fully expected to be because I'm not running a lot of speed here. But I'm Terra Water to try and resist a few of these water moves. And here is where the Ice Hammer miss at the beginning of the game was so important, because I wouldn't have had to take this Draco. The turn before, Tauros couldn't have gone for the Earthquake play because Noivern would have been dead and he couldn't have switched it in. But Pulmot does wake up here, luckily, on the third turn and kill the Noivern, as Tauros does go for another Earthquake, which doesn't quite kill the Volcarona, thank God, to like near max defense EVs, but Pulmot goes down. And we get the Psychic Cough into Tauros, which does just over half, which is kind of huge. So now we can bring in Salt Harambe, Garganackle, and the Toedscruel comes back out. We know Volk will be faster than Toad. I decide to protect here and go for the Salt Cure into Tauros because it's a water type. It's going to be doing a lot more residual damage, and that's pretty much my only hope here. Like a double into Garg here when I protect. Like, I think protect is very obvious on Volk here, so if my opponent wishes to, they can just read that and double into Garg. But I need this Salt Cure to kill Tauros this turn. I don't know at this point if it's going to be enough. I think it's my only play though. My opponent's thinking long and hard about this turn. They don't know what to do here. But he's still got 1-1 in the back that we have to remember here. And this is all I've got. A Volcarona on like 8 HP and a Garganackle. Goes for the Aqua Jet into the Protect, which is kind of huge, which means Toedscruel goes for some sort of status move because it's slower than Garg. Shouldn't be. See, that Rock move did not do enough damage, I think, to take it out. As another Leech Seed goes into Garganackle. See the lefties on the Toedscruel and Garg before we see the Salt Cure chip, I believe, yeah. And there's the Leech Seed to see. There's a whole lot of stuff going on here. The Leech Seed comes off first. Because I know this Toedscruel is like max Fizz Def as well, I don't know if it lives a fire move. And as you see there, Tauros just lives the Salt Cure. And now once again, my only win con is a double protect. And a body press into Toedscruel, is that what I do here? Or do I Salt Cure to Toedscruel? There's no point in targeting the Tauros, it's gonna die to Salt Cure if I get the double protect. So I go for the Salt Cure into the Toad for that residual as well. Because I know it's max def, I don't know if body press is really gonna do that much. Because it had to be max def to lift the Ice Hammer turn 1. Like, absolutely had to be. And even that was a roll, like I said, so there's no way in hell this isn't max Fizz Def Toedscruel. So I figure the Salt Cure is probably more optimal than the body press. But here I was like begging, pleading for this double protect, and we do get it off, which is absolutely huge. Absolutely huge. Aqua Jet again into the Moth means that Toedscruel is gonna go down this turn. Gets a big Earth Power into Garganackle over here as we Salt Cure again. No real damage because it's resisted and max def, but we will be getting that chip now. But between lefties and Leech Seed, I'm pretty sure I'm not even winning that trade. We've seen Leech Seed, we've seen Earth Power, we've seen Spore. I don't know what the last move is on this Toedscruel, but it could be Rage Powder, which could still be an issue. But the Tauros does go down to the Salt Cure. Now then, depending on what his last mon is here, we know that Volk is faster than this Toad. But I don't know if I can OHKO it for one, because that has very good natural speed F and it's obviously max HP. Has to be. And between the Leech Seed and lefties, I don't know if Garganackle can 1v1 it. Out comes Armor Rogue, right? This is his last mon. Volk's faster. Volk has a super effective hit into it, We haven't seen Protect. We haven't seen Protect, and we haven't seen Rage Powder. But at this point, in this terrible position I'm in, I just have to pray they don't have Protect or Rage Powder and go for the Terror Blast and go for Recover on Garg. So I can try and see if I can finish this off with Volcarona. Pretty much a Protect or a Rage Powder here would just guarantee I lose. So I think the safest play from my opponent would be to click Rage Powder, but they don't, and we get the Terror Blast off into the Armor Rogue. And it just doesn't do any fucking damage, and that just absolutely confirms to me that it is Assault Vest. Like, it has to be Assault Vest to live that. No, that would still kill a max HP Armor Rogue, and there's no way it's like max HP plus for death. So, it doesn't kill, Volcarona goes down, and at this point, this is pretty unwinnable. I can't 1v1 with 1v2 with Garg here. They both got super effective hits into me. Like, the Salt Cure isn't winning this trade, or it's just, I'm just breaking even just about, maybe, with the Salt Cure chip. There is no way I can survive double ups with the Leech Seeds. There is no way. Now, in hindsight, game one, maybe I could have won if I didn't make that boo-boo with the double shocks. If I'd have just hit Noivern instead, maybe. But definitely game three, that Ice Hammer miss early on into game three into Noivern was massive. It lost me the game and lost me the season for sure, because if Noivern was gone, Volcarona wouldn't have took any of that big damage that it took from the Draco, and I felt like I would have been in a good position there with a healthy Volcarona. But GG's to my opponent Lucian. Played really well. I know I got a couple of double protects, but I actually still lost both those games where I got double protects. Game 2 that I won, I didn't click double protect, so, you know, the Ice Hammer missing was far more important than double protects, and the double protects were futile anyway. It did not matter. So I definitely think I got the worst of the RNG in this game, but I can't blame that. I think Lucian played well, brought good team, brought good mons, and good luck to him in the final. But that's going to be the end of our season in WDC. We nearly made a final in our first draft league of Generation 9, so I'm very happy with my season. I've had fun with this team. Like, some of these mons have become like real favorites of mine. Like Tatsugiri, I did not believe how good it was going to be this season, but it really has grown on me. Pulmot had a very good first half of the season, but this second half of the season, I've just hated it. Like, absolutely hated it. Volcarona and Garg, absolutely broken. Tinkerton, I like, but it's a little bit awkward. Dragapult, forever underwhelming. But yeah, that's just a quick team review of the guys that I got here. Please leave a like, leave a comment of what you thought of the season, not just this battle, the season. And we'll be back for Season 2 if Matrix does decide to do a Season 2. I'm sure he will. But we'll see you guys later. Thank you very much.